Guys, it's the Priestess Infinite Prime, and I'm back with a video. I want to talk to you guys about women being the first healers and self-worth. So you're probably wondering, why are we talking about these two subjects at the same time? But it makes a lot of sense because women were the first healers, okay? Before there were any doctors, before there were any institutes of healing, the women were the healers, okay? So we were the ones that came up with the healing modalities for our families, for our children, for people in the community. That was our job. We were the healers, not from only just a spiritual perspective, but also like medicine. We came up with different herbs, oils, tinctures. That was our job, to heal. And so I'm gonna just read an excerpt out of my notes. And so it says, our self-worth goes beyond the basic self-love that is being advocated on these platforms and TV shows. And what I'm saying when I talk about that is that, this whole self-love movement is really, to me, just based on just the outer, I'm gonna love myself, I'm gonna pamper myself, and I'm gonna give myself baths and shave and, hygiene and deodorize and get pretty and feel good about myself. And I'm not negating that, but I just want to take it a little bit deeper, because it is deeper than just the surface part of like self-love. Okay, there's like also an inner self-love, a knowing of your capabilities, of being able to be autonomous and sovereign and be able to work on your own well-being. And I feel like, just myself, I feel like this doesn't get talked about. When I think about the medical field and how they have got us so bamboozled, feeling as if we have to go to them for every little single issue and problem, it just really gives that vibe of like, parent child, like, mommy, what's wrong with me? Why is this doing this? And it's like, that's normal for a child parent, where your child comes to you when they have an issue or a problem with themselves, physically, or whatever ailment or problem that they're having just in general. And it's like, we have to take more responsibilities for ourselves, like literally ourselves. Like, we have become so dependent upon institutions. It's sickening. And we really have to dial back and, process with ourselves. Like, is this normal? Should we always be going to them for every single thing? And this is not a space for blame or, judgment. That's not what I'm here for. But I am here to open your mind to question things and how everything has been set up for us to be so dependent on government and institutions. And does that really sit right with you? Because it shouldn't. We have to be more responsible for ourselves, especially when we are in a country that does not have the indigenous people's well-being. With that said, if the institutions that are your oppressors are the ones that are facilitating, drugs and healing modalities, their healing modalities, it just might be something that you want to kind of like think twice about. Okay, so So I was saying, like, self-worth and self-love goes into knowing what's best for our well-being. And then self-esteem goes into trusting yourself enough to know that you do have the capacity to heal yourself. Okay, we need to understand that we have the capacity to heal ourselves, that we don't have to rely on institutions always. Now, please understand, I'm not talking about if you absolutely have no idea if there's something critical like being shot or being, a broken hand. I'm not talking about that. Like, there are times where the institutions will be able to facilitate help on physical, like, issues, like, punctured wounds and things of that nature. But I'm talking about colds. I'm talking about flus. I'm talking about bacterial infections. I'm talking about skin ailments, right? We can heal ourselves with that. We should not be relying on them for their topical creams that are filled with steroids, or their chalky white pills that have been so processed that they have labels on them that have so many side effects that it almost seems like it would be a dishonor to yourself to even take those drugs, because it's like, okay, you're fixing one issue but you're causing another, right? So a disservice is what I want to say. It'd be a disservice to yourself if you were to take these drugs that have been, like, they're not organic. They're not from the earth. We as indigenous people need to understand and know that we are organic people. Okay, we are not inorganic people. We are of Mother Nature. So because we are of Mother Nature, this nurturing planet that is just so bountiful and so full of love and so full of any issue or ailment that you have, she literally has a plant for it. She has an herb for it. She's got an oil for it. Like, this is not a lie. Like, for those of you who are Christians, it even says it in your Bible. Okay? And I'm sure there's probably speakings on this also in the other religious books like the Torah and the Quran, right? So, let me get back to my notes. So, like, our elders and our ancestors before us knew this. We knew of the plants that Mother Earth gave to us to heal us. The feminine energy is a nurturing and healing energy in general. So this is true. The feminine energy is a nurturing energy in general. If you think about it, when you see a child get hurt, is she running to her father? Is he running to her father? No. His father? No. The first person that they're going to run to is a matriarchal energy, whether it be mom, grandma, auntie, sister. It's going to be a woman. It's like it is literally embedded in our DNA to go to the most nurturing energy that you feel around you when you are hurt. I even think about, like, when I had gave birth to all of my children. I have 5 children, and every single time I definitely was looking for my mom. I wanted my mother to be with me the whole time to help me along my journey of bringing forth life. And that's some hard work. That's why it's called labor. So we need to understand that the feminine energy is a healing energy. Now, why do I talk about self-worth? Self-worth comes in because we need to believe in ourselves enough to know that we can heal ourselves. I feel like there's like this stigmatism of us feeling as if we are inadequate because we aren't studied or we haven't been to school for medicine. Your grandmother wasn't in school for medicine, and I promise you she knew how to heal you or heal your mother, grandmother of whatever issues or ailments that they had, whether it was taking cod liver oil every day to, because see, one thing I will say about our ancestors is that we were all about preventative measures, taking preventative measures. That means that you would see the kids line up and they was taking cod liver oil, which was absolutely disgusting, but has so many healing modalities in it. When you hear about the elders talking about being with grandma or being with their mother and how they had to take that nasty shit, but they were never sick. So we were all about taking preventive measures. If you think about the westernized, the hospitals and the clinics, they're more like not about preventative measures. They don't care about preventative measures. They're more so about post the issue, right? Okay, I have this problem, and they give you something to solve it, but they're never talking about preventative measures and healing modalities of keeping yourself well to prevent sickness and illness. Think about it when you go inside of a clinic, right? You go inside of these hospitals. For me, I used to be like the Kaiser, that, you know, I've been going there since I was born, literally. And if you think about when you go inside of these places, these people look like shit. I'm sorry if you're one of them. These people look bad. Like, they don't look like they're healing. They don't look like they're getting better. They don't look like they have been revitalized. Everybody looks like they're hanging on a string, and literally the medicine that they're taking is what is making them sick and feeling and fixing an ailment at the same time. So let me tell you something. Anything that I can't stand is like a counterproductive situation or circumstance. And these hospitals and clinics they should be called counterproductive aid. Okay, because they're not fixing and they're not helping people. They're not healing. They're not in the healing business. Okay, they're in the business of keeping you coming back. Want to talk about drug dealers. Okay, I forget the neighborhood, forget the hood. Think about your clinic and these franchise, HMO hospitals. Those are the biggest drug dealers you'll ever come into contact with, because they're going to give you things that do not fix you. They're going to give you things that are a band-aid, right? Just the surface. We're not going to tell you how to internally cleanse and heal yourself. Why would we do that? We're not going to be able to get the bag from you if we tell you that. So what are we going to do? We're going to give you this cream. We're going to give you this chalky ass medicine that's got all these strange side effects. Okay, so we have to understand that they don't know it all. Stop looking to these institutions and these governments as if they're gods, because unfortunately, I feel like the indigenous people, we don't have the self-worth and the self-esteem to feel as if we are able to do things for ourselves, that we have this, dependent relationship on these entities to aid us, and it's not working out. Look around you. There are so many people in our neighborhoods that look so sick and are not getting well, but they're staying in the hospital. Make it make sense, right? So I'm gonna go into like some examples. Like, I have healed myself multiple times. I have healed my children multiple times. I've healed friends. I have always taken it upon myself to do that for myself and for my children. Once I really saw what's going on inside these hospitals, these clinics, I was like, this is not adding up. You know, I remember specifically when my two children, my 15-year-old now and my 17-year-old, when they were babies, because they're really close to each other, only a year and a half apart. And when I had them as toddlers, they used to get these ear infections that were just like, oh, they were just daunting. You know, they were just terrible. And I was going to think, you know, being the mommy, like, I'm taking care of business. I'm going to the clinic. I'm going to Kaiser. I'm going to the clinic. Oh, and they're giving me the antibiotics, that little, I know if any moms know out there, that pink bubblegum tasting syrup that they give the children that are supposed to heal them of their ear infections and stuff, right? So I used to go up there, pick that shit up, right? I promise you, like clockwork, we would get through with the dosages and everything like that for the week. Ear infection gone, it would come right back. And this happened, it had to have happened like 2 or 3 times. This was over 10 years ago, over 12 years ago. So I can't remember like exactly, but I know that it came back at least for sure 2 times, 2, 3 times. It caught my attention. It came back enough for it to catch my attention where I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, I'm going here to help to heal my child and it's not working, right? So it just led me to investigate on my own different healing modalities of how to fix the issue and the problem. I come across this, I think it was like a vlog or something, looking for healing modalities on Google. I see olive oil, clove of garlic, crushed to release this called allicin. That is the active ingredient in garlic that has like extremely potent antimicrobial and healing effects, right? You put it in the olive oil, you steep it in there for a few hours, right? Or even a day if you want, and then you can pull the garlic out. All of the medicine has been released in the oil. I take the oil, I literally dip it in cotton balls. I make these little, like, pull the cotton ball in half, dip them, stick it in my kids' ears. My children never had an ear infection again. Never again. And with that right there, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with these hospitals, because it was like a light bulb that went off for me to show me like they not about shit, because they really aren't. They're not in the healing business, like I said earlier. So that's just an example. After I had my 5th child, unfortunately, I didn't have her vaginally like the first 4. So the 5th child, I had a C-section, and I gave myself castor oil packs. And that's just like when you take castor oil and you excuse me, I had it right here. You take castor oil and you pretty much put it on a cloth, and you just drench it. And I used to put it on my C-section like every day, and I would just lay down with it because castor oil has a lot of healing modalities that also increases your red blood cells. So I would do that for myself. And when I went in for my first postpartum checkup, the lady kind of scared me because she was like, "What have you been doing?" And I was just like, "What's wrong?" And she was like, "Nothing." She was like, "Have you been doing anything?" And I was like, "Oh, I've been doing these castor oil packs." And she was like, "I've never seen anybody's C-section heal so quickly." She was like, "Your C-section is like almost all the way healed." And you know, postpartum check-ins are like, I think, what, 2 weeks or 3 weeks? I can't remember. My last child was 7. I don't remember. But she was genuinely interested in what the hell I was doing because she could not believe the way my C-section looked. And this is just something I took upon myself to heal myself faster. And so I'm giving you these examples to encourage you. My last example I'm going to give you guys is my son, Marcus, when he was in high school. He ended up getting these styes. He was staying with my ex-husband and he was not doing his job. I kept asking him to take my son to the doctor to see what was going on with these styes in his eyes, because he was having really bad infected styes, and he never took them. And so the weekend that I had him, I was like, you know what, let me see if I can find something to help heal my son. Castor oil, once again, goated. I love castor oil. Like, if it's anything that like everybody should have in their home, it's castor oil. It has so many healing modalities. Like, you just look up castor oil and just look at all of the ailments and issues that it heals. You will just be blown away. It's an oil. And so I took the oil and put in a dropper, and I dropped 2 to 3 drops in his eyes, and I did it like I think maybe twice that day, or maybe 2 or 3 times that day. The next morning his styes were gone. So this is just encouragement to show like it is possible. We are in the age of Aquarius, which is information, and it is literally at our fingertips. Whatever you want to find out and know, you can literally look on your phone. I've gotten so good, I don't go to the hospital anymore. But before I was, and I would still not be sure about certain things, you know what I would do? I would go to the hospital. I would have them tell me what's wrong with me. And they would give me the prescription. I throw it in the trash, and then I would go home and I would look at natural healing modalities, and I would heal myself. And this is real talk. And I'm encouraging all of my indigenous people out there to do the same. Stop relying on them. They don't know what the hell that they're doing, okay? We looking like this, they literally look at us as experimentation, okay? Tuskegee did not end in Tuskegee, those experiments. They are still experimenting on us to this day. And that is something to really take seriously. There are so many of us that are leaving this earth from being in their institutions that I know would still be here. My mother has told me stories about her friends having friends that had issues with their breast, and all of a sudden now they have cancer, and now they're going to get the chemo, and now they're dead, and they were fine. They were fine. Like, you have to trust yourself. You don't feel like nothing's wrong with you, then nothing is wrong with you. Because guess what? The body is intelligent, and you will get indicators, signs, and signals when something is up with you. So if you ever going into the doctor to get a checkup and they try to tell you something is wrong with you, words are spells. Everybody's thinking that witchcraft is like on some like, whoa, you know, like hocus pocus, ooga booga shit. No, it's not. The way that they do the witchcraft here is like, ma'am, I'm so sorry to tell you have stage 4 cancer, and there's absolutely nothing fucking wrong with you. And you're like, I don't get it, I feel fine. And then next thing you know, you're going in there, you're getting chemotherapy, you're losing your hair, you're depressed. Depression is one of the main ways to kill you so quickly. You losing hope in yourself. Cancer didn't kill you, you killed you. Because words are spells. And I know that this is like a hard pill to swallow, because you may think in your life of like people that you knew, like, damn, you know what, nothing was wrong with them. I've seen it. I saw it was a girl that passed away. I know nothing was wrong with that girl. Now in hindsight, but when I was younger, when she passed away and I went to her funeral, beautiful, wonderful, lovely girl I went to high school with, they killed her. That is what they do, okay? I even have my own theory, like, when you go to the hospital and to the clinic, what are they wearing? They're wearing white coats. White coats are lab coats. And who wears lab coats? Scientists. So I don't think it's far-fetched of them to be experimenting on us. I remember one time I went to the doctor and they were like, oh, you have HPV and we want to do an aposcopy, which is like where they take a piece of tissue from your cervix. And I was like, no. I said no. I was thank God, like I don't know, I was just rebellious. And like I said, I didn't feel like nothing was wrong with me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was married. I only been with one man. I'm like, no. They're like, you're not coming in. I'm like, no. Shortly after, guess what? I got pregnant with my second child. And you know how when you're pregnant and you gotta sign all that paperwork and everything, show that you don't have any type of ailments or blood problems and all that type of stuff, right? And then, you know, they draw your blood and make sure everything is good, and then they send you on your way when you like first find out you're pregnant, and you gotta like do all the paperwork to like get you in so you can get your checkups and everything, your prenatal checkups, right? They never said nothing about that supposed HPV that I had. And that was just another red flag. I'm like, they just tell you whatever. Because if that's the case, why didn't they bring it up like, oh yeah, ma'am, you know, you still have that HPV. They never said anything, nothing. And so I'm just sharing my stories with you to show you like they be on bullshit. And they will scare you into cutting off your breast. They will scare you into cutting off your damn foot. Like, they look at us like specimens. Specimens. I suggest you don't get your children, you know, the bang bangs. Don't do that. Don't do that. Vaccinations are trash. None of my kids, in my earlier years when I was ignorant into my knowing, my first two had, but my last three, none of them, and they are so healthy. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing, and they are literally just saying whatever. They have no idea what they're doing. You can figure out and heal yourself. You can figure out and heal your children. We are intelligent people. You don't need somebody to tell you what to do. You're not a fucking baby. You are an adult. You are a sovereign, indigenous being that can think for yourself. You don't need other people thinking for you. There is too much information out here for you to collect this data and fix yourself. You can heal yourself. So I just really wanted to share that with you guys. On my notes, I said the physicians and the doctors, I said they only have a degree of knowledge. This is why they're called a practice. Okay? They're practicing medicine. You ever notice they never master it? They just practicing and practicing. They don't know. Things are constantly changing, and their medicine, like I said, has so many adverse effects. That's why it's a practice, because they don't have it all figured out. And they be messing up with us. And guess what? We are different from them, from other races of people. You cannot push us and pile us all in the same categories. We not the same. Our blood ain't the same. Our bone density is not the same. None of it. Okay? So you can't sit there and be comfortable with taking in their information and looking at as law and truth, because it's not. It is not serving us. It doesn't serve us. Let me look through my notes. So I'll leave it here because I think I'm gonna save this other part for another second, because I'm already in 30 minutes. So this is enough for y'all to chew on. Mothers, to the women out there, okay, to my divine beings, the divine feminine, get your ass in a book, get your ass on a Google, okay, and get to reading, get to researching. If you know your kids got some ailments and issues, start looking into it for yourself. You'd be surprised at what you're capable of. Okay, you'd be so surprised. We are healers. And I'll get deeper into how, back in the day, we used to do the laying of hands and healing. We could do healing with our hands. We have so much love and magic and nurturing within us. With prayers, with words, speaking over our children, over our husbands, family members. We have a lot of power that we don't tap into because we got these other people that have no fucking power, that every time something's wrong with you, they want to fucking cut you open when we didn't come with a damn zipper. Okay, we have a power where we ain't even got to do all of that. So I'm gonna leave it here and just have you to ponder on that. And for the men out there, you can search into healing too. I wanted to talk to the women because I want them to know about their divinity and that this is natural. This comes extremely natural for women to be healers. And it's so funny because there's all these men doctors out here, but the women are the freaking healers. It's always been that way. That's why I feel like a lot of our indigenous women always want to be nurses, because ancestrally we know we have this healing ability about us. And so because we've been so indoctrinated with how we go about using or facilitating our gifts and talents through institutions as opposed to sovereignly, independently doing our own thing, a lot of our indigenous women are nurses. But they really need to be like healers and root workers, where they're getting herbs and stuff like that together and helping healing people on their own, which is something that I do. So I just wanted to share that word with you guys, and I hope that you take it in and understand that I just want to empower all of us to understand that we have the capacity to take care of ourselves, and that just because people have been to school for a whole bunch of years don't mean shit. The lady that I talked to about my castor oil, that woman was taking notes. She was a doctor. She was like, what were you using again? What was that called? The doctor was taking notes from me. I have some college. I haven't even been to no 4-year or nothing like that. I did some junior college. But I'm extremely intelligent. And you know why? Because I research and I read every day. And I make it a point to educate and know something new every day. Because that's what we're here to do, is to absorb knowledge and to take action with it, use it for ourselves, and also to share it with others. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, especially in Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius, and that's what Aquarius is about. We love knowledge. So I'm going to end it. We affirm that we are transformed by the renewing of our minds and manifest a love supreme that sparks the flame within to change the world. Giving honor to the great cosmic mother. This is the Priestess Infinite Prime, signing off.